talking to, and about what?
Hey guys.
Talk about. Hey.
Guys.
You're talking to Sijo and me about. So the whole concept, as you know, is men's health and advocacy for men's health. So what we'll discuss is, number one, do men get plastic surgery? Number two, what are some cool things you've done recently? I'd love to talk about the scalp transplant. You've been all over the news for that.
Let's do it.
And number three is, how can good health help with plastic surgery? So, smoking and not.
Sure, I got it.
All right, so hey, we're joined here by our boy, Dr. Selber, plastic surgery to the celebrities, and awesome guy. He's one of the founding members of Ramses, which is what Sijo can kind of talk about.
The Robotic Assisted Microsurgical Endoscopic Society, and we'll take a moment. We did lose one of our dear friends recently, and Leonardo, and we'll definitely miss him. But and then wanted to introduce Jesse. Jesse's been with us from the beginning. Paula's been a strong supporter too there, all the Ramses as well, and so appreciate you guys taking the time to talk to us. Basically, it's just our audience is basically just guys out there. We have 700 people that log in from different times to look at the videos. Everything's recorded, so eventually it'll be edited and kind of placed on the website, so you can review this later. And the whole goal is just to help promote men's health awareness. And I think some of the stuff that you do is quite impressive. And you did the world's first scalp transplant, right? Successful scalp transplant?
Kind of. We'll give you some more details about that.
Okay, no problem. And so for everyone out there, Dr. Selber is one of the premier plastic reconstruction surgeons in the world. He's at MD Anderson, and he's also one of the pioneers in robotic microsurgery in that field. And so with that, I'll open it up to you, Jesse, and probably Jamin's going to be talking to you more since I have to drive, but I'll be listening. I'll be right here, so don't worry.
So one question we always get asked is plastic surgery. That's a woman thing, but first and foremost, I want everyone to know that plastic surgery is not just boobs and lips. A lot of plastic surgery is, I'll let you explain, and you do a lot of the stuff that's not flashy out there in the media, and you're doing stuff that is actually very critical to the vitality for a lot of our patients. If you don't mind expanding on that, plastic surgery is not just boobs and lips. Like, what else is there, and what is the important stuff that you see that you do?
Well, first of all, a lot of the important things that exist in plastic surgery I don't even do, but plastic surgery is a huge field, and it encompasses not just cosmetic surgery, but also reconstructive surgery. And that reconstruction can be for all sorts of things: burn, congenital abnormalities, trauma, and in my particular case, cancer. So I do 100% cancer reconstruction at the largest cancer institution in the world, which is MD Anderson, at the largest Texas medical center in the world, which is in Texas. And one of the things that we did recently, which is the world's first, and has been really exciting for us, is we did the first skull and scalp transplant combined with a kidney pancreas transplant, all in one case. Booyah.
How long did that take?
Well, it took 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah. So I identified this patient in my clinic who had some scalp cancers, and he had a large and extensive skull defect through the scalp all the way down to the brain that we were treating him for. But he also had a kidney pancreas transplant for juvenile diabetes. So I got it in my head that I was going to transplant his scalp, his skull, his kidney, and his pancreas all from the same donor, which has a myriad of advantages. It provides like tissue for a scalp transplant where he would already have immunosuppressions on board. It provides all of his donor antigens from the same person, so he wouldn't have his scalp, for instance, attacking his kidney and his pancreas, which could happen. And he would get the ultimate reconstruction.
How did you identify the donor in this case? Was this a living donor?
It has to be a cadaveric donor because you can't just borrow somebody's scalp and their skull. But the donor is on life support. So when we get the call that it might be an appropriate match for their solid organs and their blood type and their haplotypes, then I get called to go actually look at the person's scalp and skull. I can't give you a lot of details about the donor because of the rights of the donors in these gifts that they give, but suffice it to say, the scalp was not in perfect condition. There was some trauma related to the cause of death. And I had to make a call about the viability of the scalp and how it fit into the context of this other major organ transplant. And once that call was made, we went into about 20 hours of coordination of care, followed by 15 hours of surgery with about 12 different surgeons at 2 hospitals.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible.
Dude, it was pretty awesome. It was pretty awesome. Yeah. We are psyched about it. Totally psyched about it.
So you do a lot of cancer. So what are some things that you see that what cancers men have had, and the procedures that have needed that people needed to do because that you have needed to done on men? Because I know you do a lot of breast cancer stuff, but breast cancer actually 1% of men get breast cancer as well. So
yeah, it's when men have breast cancer, they usually don't get a lot of reconstruction. But I think the main things that I deal with that afflict men are head and neck cancer, and then prostate cancer when it gets advanced requires some reconstruction, because sometimes there are cancers that can cause the removal of parts of the perineum and that have to be replaced, and I do that. Penile cancers, I sometimes have to do penis reconstruction. Sometimes I have to fabricate an entirely new penis, and that's a complicated operation, which we can get to work. And we can make it different sizes too, if you're interested, depending on kind of where you are in the world and what you're interested in doing with it. We can make something, from your forearm, or we can make something from your thigh. And those are different size tissues and have different parameters. So that's all interesting. And then the other thing, which is, not that sexy, but it's important, is head and neck cancer. Obviously, you can't smoke. Because that puts you at risk for having horrible cancers that require incredibly complex reconstruction. But you also need to be screened for HPV, because HPV is increasingly causing head and neck cancer in young people who don't have other risk factors. And that's very important because if you don't catch it, then it can develop into a cancer which essentially becomes untreatable.
This is fantastic. So how do you use the robot for some of this stuff?
Well, the robot and I are still finding our way in the plastic surgery world, and we do a few different things together. Most of them are around breast reconstruction, but some of the radical, for instance, cystoprostatectomies, the removal of the prostate and the bladder, after there's been radiation, sometimes we have to use the robot to take the rectus muscle, which is one of the 2 muscles of the stomach, and carry it down into the pelvis to provide some vascularized tissue, and we'll do that using the robot, particularly if the tumor extirpation has been done robotically, just to not create a laparotomy for the patient, which is a big incision on the belly for those viewers who are not medical.
Wow, that's crazy, man. So in terms of health, so what we're trying to do is advocate men take better care of themselves. And if you look at statistics, men are way behind women when it comes to preventative screening, life expectancy, causes of death. We just do worse. And so what do you think are some of the reasons why men don't take care of themselves like they should?
There are a lot of reasons. The stresses of contemporary life for a man, work, family, expectations about, how successful you are. The stresses of these things can, erode your health level, and you have to really remember to, take time for yourself and take care of yourself. But that doesn't just involve managing your stress. It also involves exercise, eating properly. I would highly recommend having a young Brazilian girlfriend. That is that really does increase your overall level of hormonal balance, and I think that. Don't worry,
he's my friend on Facebook. That will suffice.
And otherwise, you just have to live right, man. You got to live right. You got to do things you love and love what you do. So that's the secret there.
I agree with you. I think like a lot of married men, a lot of men that get married, just give up. And I think, and then we end up seeing them in our practice for libido issues, and their testosterone is okay. And then the wife, usually tells me, well, he needs to work out, he needs to do this, and he's not attracted to me, but I'm not attracted to him either. Look at that gut, like. And I agree with you, is staying fit and healthy, all because you have someone next that loves you for who you are and doesn't judge you because of your physical look. You should still try to look decent and go hit the gym and work out. And
let me tell you something, Jamin. They may not tell you they judge you for your physical look, but they do.
Yeah, no, they do.
Yeah, they do. And you have to take care of yourself for your partner and for yourself, because it's hard for you to feel sexy if you look like shit, and they won't think you do either. So
yeah,
that's part of a healthy interaction with your partner.
But you're right. I mean, it motivates you. It gets you up and moving, and those issues are really important. And sometimes we just don't talk about it.
Yeah, you can't take it for granted. I mean, look, us having a single monogamous partner for a long period of time, that's going to beget a certain amount of boredom. But you have to do justice to having the other person with you, and you gotta remind them every once in a while that you're a man. So.
Oh, Jesse, always interesting talking to you. So you're in Israel right now. What are you doing over there?
We're here at the Holy Land to. We're here under the pretenses of bar mitzvahing my sister's son, my nephew, who's 13.
Okay.
We just did that this morning, actually.
So we're not going to hear the Beyonce song, "Put a Ring on It" or whatever, or?
Yeah, that's not what we're doing over here. But we're doing some pretty cool stuff. We had dinner with a Bedouin tribe tonight, and we're going up to the Golan Heights tomorrow for a security briefing and some other stuff. We went rappelling today. We're rafting tomorrow. It's going to be fun.
Well, that's awesome, man. Well, listen, I know you're on vacation, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us about men's health. And we're very excited to have you as a driver in Houston. And one day, hopefully, we'll be able to stop in Houston. Our current fellow is actually coming to Houston. He's going to be part of the Methodist system. He's going to be doing infertility and hopefully some robotic stuff. So if he needs a mentor there or some help, we know we can always give him your name.
Yeah, man. Listen. If he wants a hand, I did this transplant at Methodist, so I have privileges over there. I can walk over there and help people.
Man, that is what I love about Ramses and you guys is it's such a collaborative effort, and a lot of people, try to do things on their own, and they want to keep the spotlight on them. But what I like about our circle is that it's not a circle. It's all inclusive. Whoever wants to be in there, we can make the circle bigger or we can make it smaller. It's very dynamic. So appreciate you supporting us, and we support everything you do, including your hot young Brazilian wife, fiance, girlfriend. And we appreciate you always posting pictures of all your endeavors. We do always want to know what you're doing, Jesse. So it's awesome that we know.
We love being Facebook friends with you, Paula. So thank you so much.
I don't always understand the Brazilian language, the Portuguese, but whatever it is, it sounds good. So. Hey, but
all right. Hey, listen, you guys, hang in there.
We will. We only got like 4,000 miles to go. And
go easy on the Mountain Dew.
I will.
All right, guys. Well, hey, you guys take care. Have fun, and we'll see you guys when you guys get back, and be safe.
Thank you so much.
All right,
guys.
see you, brother.
See you. Great talking to you.
These two dude doctors are driving across the country to drive home a point with men. Don't neglect your health. These two doctors from Orlando Health, they commissioned a survey that found that 80% of men could remember the